Brad, how do you guys handle the bye week?
Uh, Recovery week, maintenance and recovery, as Mark Boom would call it, active recovery. Kind of be mindful of kind of what that looks like. Guys got back late on Sunday morning, coming back from Miami. We gave them, I wouldn't say 2 days off, but 2 days to themselves on Monday and Tuesday. They did some community service events, giving back to the community. Academics was part of that, and then we had a practice today. So we'll practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, give them Saturday, Sunday, and then get back to game week on Monday of practice. But just making sure that we do the right things to stay sharp, even though we have an open weekend. And it comes at a good time, I firmly believe. We have a couple guys out of our lineup, maybe a chance to get one of them back, or hopefully two, but maybe one. But also to get the gas back in the tank, the energy level back up, and a situation where we want to push the last 4 weeks going into playoffs here with a lot of energy.
Do you take a look at Albrecht and Johannes next week, or how does the evaluation
go?
So
Albrecht practiced today. We had a good practice today. He practiced. He looked good out there. So, he's trending the right direction for a week and a half from now. And then with Johannes, he wasn't on the ice with us today, but we'll see. And it probably won't be for this week. We'll see what next week brings to see if we can get him out on the ice and go from there.
Thoughts on how Jackson Blake has played the last couple of weeks? What are some things you liked about him?
Well, his compete level and his tenacity, and just stepping it up in a lot of different areas. It just kind of reminds me on Friday night when we needed that one goal. We were down 2 goals, and in the third period, he makes a great play, kind of a relentless play in the corner, dives over a guy, leads with his stick to separate a puck. We get a puck, it goes low to high, and then Britter scores a really nice goal. Just his relentless approach to do whatever it takes for our team to win, and it seems like he's got a lot of energy. He gets a lot of ice time, but he's ready for that next shift, and he maximizes. He doesn't waste a shift. He maximizes every shift he gets, and then the other part for me is his leadership side of it. You're starting to hear him now. When I always talk about guys on the bench, when the leadership takes over in the locker room, well, it's usually the older guys, and he's a sophomore, but he talks on the bench. He's a guy that's starting to say the things that leaders say on the bench to lead your team, and I think he's taken a step in that regard as well.
Does he look like a Hobie candidate to you?
Absolutely, 100%. We just practiced today, and we've been off for a couple days. Man, he was sharp out there today. That's what guys do. When you talk about Hobie Baker candidates that are impactful every game, what about the practices that lead up to the games? Like for me, your best players have to raise the bar to where you have to be in order to win. Like he's one of the guys in our group that's one of our best players, but he raises the bar, whether it's in the game, like I just talked about, the plays that he makes, but also in practices to drive the bar to where everybody else has to get to. That's what Hobie Baker candidates bring to the table, and I firmly believe 100% he is a Hobie Baker candidate for sure.
Your next matchup is CC. That was probably his toughest weekend of the year. What are some things you think he maybe had learned from that weekend and taken forward, and some things that you'd like to see him do against the Tigers this time?
You're talking Jackson Blake?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I just think how fast the game is, how good CC checks, and how a situation where, the puck has to be moving. He's got to be moving, but the puck's got to be moving, and everybody's got to take part of that. And I think one thing with Jackson, he's a guy that can make plays out of nothing, going through guys. But when you got good teams that are defending you, I think it's one of those things where you're going to have to distribute and get it back, and make sure that once you get it, it's got to go to the net. They got a very good goaltender. They play well defensively, and it's one of those things when you get your look, take it, but. You can't do it all by yourself. And I think it's one of those things where not only him, but the rest of our team have to play a good, sound team game against Colorado.
Since you're talking so much about Jackson Blake, I asked him this question too. Obviously a very successful freshman season for him, but do you feel like he's having more fun now in his sophomore season, feeling a little bit more comfortable, which also raises his game a little bit?
Yeah, he has fun a lot, all the time. You always wonder, when a guy comes in your freshman year, which is always tough, how he's going to do. And he did extremely well, and now he's kind of taken it up another level. And I think he can still keep moving, and that's the great part of it. As far as he's still got better ahead of him, and having fun, absolutely. We're out in practice today, and you know a guy that when you're into practice, sometimes, at this time of year, you want to try to maybe get through and then get to the next drill and then, get moving. He loves practice and he loves, I guess, competition within the practice. And, you can tell when a drill gets towards the end of, we have 4 or 5 drills we get to, and when one drill ends and another one goes, he wants to keep going with that same drill. And, I'm yelling out one more time. He goes, no, 4 or 5 more times. Like that's a guy that has passion for the game, and you love that as a coach because that's what drives everybody else. Is you just want to keep going, and he's having a lot of fun.
When I specifically watch him, he's not the biggest guy out on the rink. You talk about him being relentless, but it also seems like he just plays fearless out in the corners, playing against some of the biggest defensemen in the league. How does that maybe help his game too?
Well, yeah, let's start with probably his dad. His dad had a lot of that in him, and obviously that transferred to him as far as that compete level and drive and passion. But I think he wants to be a difference maker. I think at the end of the day, he is a difference maker, when he's on the ice, and he wants to be that guy, that go-to guy. And, again, we've had a number of those guys in our program. Brock Besser was another guy that, wanted to be that guy on the ice, gets back to the bench, he looks and he says, I'm ready to go. And that's kind of Jackson Blake, that, he's got that hockey player in him, that relentless approach to him, whether it's practice or a game, to be that difference maker. And I think that's a unique part of his character.
You also saw the team be relentless on Friday, being able to come back in that win. In that second period intermission, what was kind of the message to the team? Believe
in yourself, believe in your teammates. It's been a remarkable year in the fact that we've won games all different ways, and we've had to come from behind, going back to Denver Friday night, winning that game from way back to win that. That kind of started our belief as far as what we can do against a very good team. And, like I said, Miami's a good team too. Obviously, they play extremely hard. That was a tough game that we played on Friday night, and it was just, hey, keep doing the same things that we're doing. But, we were getting a lot of chances too. They weren't going in. It was one of those things that stay with what we do. Don't deviate. Don't try to do more than you should do or try to do somebody else's job. Just do your job and stay with what we have. But first and foremost is believe in yourself and believe in the guy sitting next to you, and our guys did. And that was some things that were said on the bench in the second and third period as well.
Brad, the Christmas break really benefited this team, and the bye week obviously isn't as long as that, but can you kind of talk about the importance of, I guess, re-energizing and how you guys plan on staying focused?
Yeah, well, just keep, trying to stay with kind of the momentum of what we're doing. Obviously, we're not playing this weekend, but I think you can replicate a lot of things with the things that we usually do in practice, and then maybe towards the end of the week, replicate maybe a scrimmage like we are playing in games this weekend to get those reps. And then for me, the other thing too is, even though that, sometimes you maybe worry about a little rust or whatever. Our break is so short that it's not gonna matter that way. I don't firmly believe. Over Christmas it was over 2 weeks that we were off, and that's where you do get a little rust. But for us, no, we're staying with it right now, and we're going to be fresh coming off. And I think we're even going to be more re-energized knowing that there's only 4 weekends left before playoffs. And you know what? We're chasing for a Penrose. Like we want that thing. We want that. That's one of the things that we put on our list every year, and we want that. And we're extremely excited about trying to pursue that the last 4 weeks.